Welcome back to the show that spotlights Bionicle mocks from across the LEGO community with the aim of giving you some inspiration for your future builds. Today we're going to focus on Bohrok related mocks. Very exciting, but this time I want to talk about using the pieces from Bohrok sets to make unique stuff with them, or just like really different and unique ways of building a Bohrok mock. You know, it kind of departs from the norm of a typical normal Bohrok set. Sounds exciting? Well, let's dive in. Ivan Martinov begins this episode with an awesome mock called Bohrok Prime. I love seeing big ball joint eyes on the eyes of a Bohrok head. I don't know, I'm really used to seeing the classic Bohrok like triangular eye, so this new shape here is just really refreshing. I also love this pop of purple within those eyes there. It up against the dark and light blue is something really special. I also enjoy the modified tusks in this area, and also the sort of general mouth area too. Again, I'm really used to seeing those white tusks or teeth, whatever you want to call them, that the Bohrok typically have. So seeing this like macaroni tube area around the mouth, it's a lovely little design. And then these classic finger-linking joints that create these much longer, more pronounced horn tusk things. It's really innovative and I love it. So it's great to see the essence of a typical Bohrok, but really switching things up. It's cool. Now these claw weapons are really nice as well, using these uniquely shaped curved slope pieces and then lining it with these plates makes for a really special design. And on that, I love how unique the whole look of this build is. It feels alien, it feels different. It's such a nice departure from your classic Bohrok set, especially because it's a lot bigger in size. This is just a great reminder to experiment and play, change up anything you can on a classic design like the Bohrok, reimagine things, try new stuff, and you'll get great end results like this. I adore this mock and everything it stands for. It's so cool. Also, as someone who's been building lately on LEGO Studio a lot more than I ever have, it's not as easy as it sounds, and it is a really fun thing to do, so I can also appreciate this as a digital build. Very, very cool. Corn Builder now has built Tarnock Sweeper. This is so cute and so clever. So, just for those who maybe don't know as much about the actual story behind the Bohrok toys, in the Bionicle storyline, they were made to clean the island of Mutanui, which was actually the big Mutanui robot. And in the process of cleaning up the island, they were kind of preparing the body so it could be woken up. This takes the idea of cleaning things to a whole new level by giving them a street sweeper of some kind. Let me read you the description that it says on Flickr here for this mock, because I think it helps to understand this a little bit more. So reading it now. The newest and most powerful in island cleaning technology is here. From Bohrok Industries comes the new Tarnock Sweeper, the perfect tool for cleaning any obstacle that may appear on any street or island village. With twin superheated spinning blades, this marvel can melt and chop up any mountain or tower that ends up in your way. The Tarnock VAR pilot ensures that no small obstacle will be left behind, and to perform maintenance in the event of an accident. Oh, that's so much fun. I don't know, you may have already been like, hey, this is pretty cool, but it also has working lights. It's even cooler now. On top of those working lights, it has rear wheel steering, it's got front wheel drive, it's got spinning blades. The power functions in this make this so much cooler. The effort and energy that was put into this is really special, actually. Great work, Corn Builder. So the actual build itself now, I love the use of the Bohrok arm pieces in red, the ones that are using the arms and legs on this set here. These have been used to create this kind of curved top section on the top area here of the vehicle. Really clever way of using some Bohrok parts, and a nice way to add a bit of curvature to this otherwise pretty blocky design. But it works being blocky. That's how it would look in the real world sort of thing. So yeah, that's a nice way of adding some interesting curvature and using those pieces in a great way. Also, these red Glatorian shin guard pieces on the front of the cleaning blades. I love the smooth aesthetic of those pieces, and I think it ties into the overall design well. It just looks like the sort of shape you would expect this to look on an actual cleaning vehicle, and especially on these blades as well, or the cleaning things, whatever you want to call them. You would expect this to be that kind of curved shape like that. It's very angular and very smooth at the same time, so I think it fits with the overall aesthetic and just makes sense, right? So very clever and very creative and just very well thought out in general, that area and this entire mock for that matter. So yeah, so clever, so creative, so cute. Well done. My Snail Eats Pizza has built Zar Shaman. So the Bohrok had these light grey pieces that held the Krana in place on their heads. You can see the Krana resting here in this little light grey kind of part there. That's the specific piece we're talking about, as we can see on this official set. So it's great to see this specific piece in action as a part of the design of this build. I mean, using it as like a loincloth or shoulder armor, it's just a good choice. It does like surprisingly resemble like kind of like a leather tunic or like plaited armor of some kind. So yeah, I think it's a really great part use. And actually on that, it says on Flickr here that this was the motivation for building this mock in general. Jonathan, who built this, says that he built this in an hour. He specifically was aiming to use this piece within that hour. It was just a fun little building challenge. And man, that's such a good idea. I love the idea of just, okay, here's a specific piece I've got. Maybe I've got a good handful of them too. Let's just do something in an hour. Let's just see what I come up with. Even if it's bad or it's like super like simple or whatever, who cares? It's just a fun way to stay motivated, and it's just sometimes good to set little challenges for yourself and push yourself in that regard. So yeah, if you can do a little short challenge with an interesting seed part like that, do it. It's super fun and it's enjoyable. You'll probably grow as a builder too, so it's worth it. Another thing that's nice on this is to see Krana pieces in action on this mock. They've always looked really cool, and of course they were designed to work as sort of kind of masks, so definitely works well on the head design here of this mock, but it looks even better on this cane weapon staff design that they have here. Up top like that, it looks like some sort of skull or other kind of ornamentation on the top of the staff there. So yeah, great to take advantage of the fact that it's white and that it has more kind of skull-like qualities too, so very appropriate there. And I think someone actually did ask me a little bit ago, could I do an episode specifically about using Krana? Well, there's two good examples right there. Anyway, fantastic mock by Jonathan here. This next mock is by Unuku and it's called The Builder. So reading the description for this mock on Flickr, it says that they were finally able to put the broken Bohrok head that they got from Moldot to good use. The broken head on his chest has always been a big part of this character, as have the Bohrok parts that fit into this design. It's as if Unuku has been reconstructed with parts found from the Bohrok around him. So that's what the description said there, but I think there's two really good ideas in that. One is finding a great use for broken pieces. I'm sure, like I do, and probably everyone else listening to this, you've got at least one or two pieces that have broken over time, especially some of those lime joint pieces, which always broke. So it's nice to see them, not just being discarded and actually finding a way to put them to good use. That's awesome. The other thing that's cool too is the fact that this mock uses so many different Bohrok parts to construct a really solid character. We've obviously got this headpiece there in the chest, which is unique and very fun. I think the same can be said as well for the Parak tan Bohrok arm pieces that have been used all throughout this mock. They're being used on the torso for sort of detailing on the lower area there, and they are also used wonderfully to create this curved leg design, which is a really nice look. And, that was the purpose of this episode, is seeing different ways that we can use Bohrok pieces or just reimagine Bohrok characters and things. And I think this is just the perfect example of that. So, hey, if you've got some of those Bohrok arm pieces lying around, you can build a rad torso design or some fantastic legs with them. It's by no means a useless piece. Here's two brilliant examples of just how good it can look. Another thing on this that's cool is the lower arm design. We can see some brown tread pieces that have been integrated there. Now, these come as tread pieces on an old Clone Wars Hailfire droid set, which was one of my favorite sets as a kid. And yeah, it's just great to see those things wrapped around the arm there, just to not only like fill in a gap, but just create a nice rounded arm design. It's a fantastic little part use, looks great, and is just the perfect finishing touch for that arm design. Really cool. Now to a mock by the _double, and this is Garlock Nymph. So we know that the Krana were like a type of organic species that acted as the brains for a Bohrok, and it in turn gave power to the Bohrok. Without the Krana, the Bohrok couldn't really do much. So I love the idea of seeing other types of things that the Krana could get inside of and then give life to. This is a really cool concept for that. The shape of it really reminds me of like a silverfish, especially with the use of those orange tubes on the tail area there. It's a very effective use of those pieces for sure, and certainly seems fitting for this more, I don't think it is specifically a bug, but it's a bit more of a kind of bug-like design. There's probably more scientific words than me saying bug there, but that's the word I'm going for. Also, check out the incredible shaping on the tail here. The way that the tail at least leads into the body, that part there I really love. We can see these larger blue CCBS shells, and they perfectly blend in with these two foot pieces. And as nice as that shaping is, it's especially cool to see how the socket part of that foot leads into one of the legs, and then it just transitions into some other socket pieces in a very seamless manner. That's so cool. It's just so nice when you can see pieces perfectly leading into one another like that. It's just so satisfying. What a great design. I also love the eyes on this guy here, using lots of those blue Exoforce robot arm pieces in blue to form a nice outline around that boat stud there. So nice, such a cool look, and just in general, this is a really fun but simple build, but simple but so effective. Using minimal pieces but shaping them so nicely, it's so cool to see. Up next, Radar has built Symbiote Nuvok. Man, I love this. Combining Venom from Marvel and a Bohrok. Radar, you know the way to my heart. This is so nice. They've really effectively managed to give that Venom face and tongue and seamlessly work it into that orb-like shape of a Bohrok head. It's a really wonderful meshing of the two of them. I also like the idea that the area where the Krana is stored is a bit higher up and a little bit more bulbous here. There's just something about that looks really nice. It also looks like there's two Krana in there as well, which I'm not too sure of the specific reasoning for that, but hey, it looks cool. I like it. I dig it. I also enjoy the fact that these quasar spikes have been placed in here. There's something wonderfully fitting about that. This extra pop of red, it works surprisingly well. Plus, I think those quasar spike pieces, the really sharp curve of them, there's something about that feels appropriate for a weapon on a symbiote. So yeah, it's just a great inclusion there. And then also on the arms, we can see some of these black spike appendage pieces that appeared on the minifigure Paraka. Those black pieces, as well as on the legs, there's a few different black spikes sticking out. There's something about that once again feels just so appropriate for a symbiote. It looks like almost like liquid-like symbiote creeping through the body in some fashion. So yeah, a lot of times here, there's just been really distinct and effective part usage where they're really paying attention to the look of those pieces and putting it in a way to really help sell that concept. So really picking out the right pieces is it's a skill all in itself. So good choice. But yeah, this is a really out there way of reimagining a Bohrok, and it just seems so appropriate. So yeah, this is really innovative and really cool. Nice work. And that's been a bunch of different ways of using Bohrok pieces or reimagining the Bohrok in new and exciting ways. Hopefully this has given you a bit of inspiration to play with some of the pieces from the Bohrok sets, or, you know what, build your own Bohrok mock and play with them in ways that you could never imagine. If you would like to see some of your own mocks on the show, you can see them on the show when you submit them to the email that's on your screen. It's also in the description below if you want to copy and paste it. Send me whatever you want in that email and I'll do my best to feature it in a future episode when I can. Also, there'll be links in the description to the mocks that you saw in today's episode, so be sure to check out some of the other builds that these builders have done and maybe leave a comment or a like or whatever kind of thing you can do on those websites to let them know that you love what they built, because I'm sure they'd love to hear your thoughts on them as well. Also in the description below are links to my own social media, so you can check out some of the stuff that I've got going on over there. I believe by the time this episode comes out, which I'm recording a little bit in advance, I will be at Brick Fair, Virginia, or at least be in the US of A. So if that is the case, probably on my Instagram most of all, you'll be able to see updates and things as I'm over there, so be sure to check that out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, happy building, and bye for now.